How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Oh, lordy, lordy. We're finally wrapping up Podcaster's Choice. This is a podcaster patron choice.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What? You can... Stop right there.
Yeah.
If you donate to this show... How much?
Any amount 5 or larger will get you an entry into...
$5.
Yep. If you pledge 5 or more a month, you get an entry into what will be normally every 4th episode. Every third episode, sorry.
So
you will pick the main attraction based upon the theme we choose for that month.
You get to make us do something.
Right.
If you just pay a little bit of money.
So they can impact our world.
They can impact our world.
The whole world.
They are a part of our world. Oh. It is a whole new world.
It is.
So normally we would have had
Regular
2 of
circle of life.
the way we did Podcaster's Choice, because there are 5 of us plus the patron. This was a 6-episode stretch where you'll see this is a more frequent perk that you'll get normally. But this one was Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
She chose one of my favorite movies.
One of mine as well.
Which I was real thrilled about. Joe Dante's The Burbs, starring Tom Hanks.
Awesome.
And Carrie Fisher.
Awesome
Fantastic pick.
And Bruce Dern.
The Incubus, the Succubus.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah. So the fun thing, too, is coincidentally, this week is the 30th anniversary of the release of The Burbs.
Girl, how'd you do that?
I don't know if she planned it that way.
Magical baby.
Or is she just a magical?
Magical.
So we'll get into that later. That's our main attraction.
Yeah.
Before that, Kelley will review Cold Skin from Shudder.
So cold.
Amy's here.
Hi.
Mikey's here.
Mikey B.
Kelly's here.
My skin is still cold.
I'm Freddy. Andy has tummy troubles. He's still figuring that out.
He's
got troubles. He's blowing bubbles.
We made him eat tacos last night.
How dare we?
We didn't make him.
Yeah.
He chose
From where?
La Piñata.
They
were pretty good.
I had Los Ponchos last night.
Did
It was like
you?
we did the two. We were like at the two ends of Coleraine.
Yeah. We should have combined our night. I didn't even think about it.
Well, we didn't go there and eat. Like we picked it up and brought it home and ate with the Burbs.
Nice.
Yeah. Real quick, just to get it out of the way off the top. One of my other podcasty projects, Portals to Possibility, which is a show where we improv and do the conceit is weird cryptozoologist interviewing cryptids. We are getting ready to launch season 2, by which I mean I don't know that those episodes are going to be up for a while, but we're launching with a live show at the sort of official watering hole, the NOTLP, the Overlook Lodge here in Cincinnati, a Jacob Trevino
Joint.
cinema gorilla cinema place. We're going to be doing that Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Elise is a character on this season. You should go. You can Google it right now to get bits and pieces of season 1. Those will all eventually be up. We're putting it. We found someone. We found a rich old man. I'm just kidding, Richard. You're not old or rich, but your name is kind of like Richard. To come along and benefactor us. So eventually, all of season 1 will be up on a new thing called Popular Podcast Network.
Cool. Pulpular?
Yeah.
Like Pulp Magazine, Pulp Book?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's his channel.
Yeah, I like the name of his channel. Well done, Richard.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
So Wednesday night, if you're in Cincinnati and you're like, "Ugh, I'm high, but I don't have anything weird to do," come down to the Overlook and watch an improv show where we talk to monsters.
So pull your head out of that bag of paint you're huffing.
Mm-hmm.
Put on your shorts.
It's February 20th, correct?
Yes.
2019.
I also, same day I get my inserts fitted. I get fitted for shoe inserts.
Nice.
Yeah.
What time again?
My inserts are the show.
Stepping up.
Both.
Inserts 10 a.m.
Okay.
The show is at 7 p. And we are doing we're interviewing two monsters. So you're getting two little shows.
Yeah. And NOTLP fan fave Chiswick is also part of this.
Yes, that's right. Mike Chiswick
Yeah.
is one of the main characters. Again, I am also one of the main characters. And the lovely Patreon Beelzebub level donator Elise Kombrinck.
Patreon
That was a
Beelzebub level
mouthful.
wife.
No blood relation, but we are related by marriage. She is also a
You get
character.
one or the other.
Did
in
you
this
guys get
state.
that checked? Just to double check.
Yeah, we were disappointed to find out that we weren't
Yeah.
related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your souls are mingled, though.
Aw.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're around, just come hang out, check it out.
I'll be there.
There's
Yeah.
Amy will be
We'll
there.
be there.
Freddie will be
I'll
there.
be there.
That's Wednesday?
It is Wednesday,
Which Wednesday?
the 20th.
This
the
one.
20th.
February
This one.
20th at 7 p.m. at the Overlook. That's in Pleasant Ridge in Cincinnati, Ohio.
You're so much better at this than I am.
There.
Well, I understand the things that people need.
Mm-hmm. You just
To-
say
in
it
order
better.
to
You don't
partic-
stumble.
No.
She makes things
never
happen.
Once. Never
She's
once.
a closer.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
ABC. AABC. Amy always be closing.
Amy
Amy
always
always
be
be
closing.
closing.
Freddie and I have been watching so much Family Ties.
Sha-la-la-la.
Every time you say Elise, it has only increased my warm feelings for your Elise.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Elise on Family Ties is such a great mom and lady.
She's a great mom. She spells her name a little differently.
Yeah, but she spells it with an E.
Yeah.
Like a freak.
She's still alive?
Oh, yeah. Meredith Baxter Burney.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is right.
MBB.
For love with Meredith Baxter Burney.
Michael Gross, total daddy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hot daddy.
Woof.
Sure, why wouldn't he be? He's got a beard.
I didn't know that till now.
I realize our friend Justin Allison reminds me of Michael Gross.
Well, now it's
Yeah.
weird that
now,
I just
now
said
that you
that.
said that, yeah. But he does.
I mean, Justin's a very handsome fella.
He is.
I'm not taking that away from him, but
How are
I
you-
don't want to call him a daddy.
How are you dealing with the painting frustration
Oh,
every time you watch
the
the
jealousy,
episode?
you mean?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I wish
Do you-
I could do that. With my arm would just come in off screen with a paintbrush and just gently rub red all over Meredith Baxter Burney's breast.
Do you have just like 0.9 0.9 tenths of a second's worth of like every
Yeah.
single time, and then you're like, it's okay,
It's all right.
because then they go sha la la la.
Here's what I never appreciated as a kid. Tina Yothers used to drive me crazy as far as like just got on my nerves, as a kid.
Well, she was like a
Really?
bratty little sister.
She was supposed to be, but if you watch it as an adult, she's brilliant.
Sure.
What a great comic performer. Almost like not playing. She's a very smart character, but just like for a kid actor to have the deadpan comic delivery that she has on a lot of stuff on that show, out of this world.
Well, you know what I remember about her is that she was always like kind of like in the background of a scene, or like she would like kind of walk through and like make some observation or like
Yeah.
some kind of intelligent thing, and then just be gone. Like no one was paying attention to her, and then she would just be like, "You
Yeah.
guys are a bunch of fucking ding dongs."
And she had bulletproof bangs. So.
Bulletproof.
Yeah. I love Tina Yothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a musical artist.
She's
now.
like,
and
no,
she- remember,
Yother.
didn't she have a couple like a story arc where she performed on the show?
Oh, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, have you gotten
But
to the
yeah.
OCD incident?
With her?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, she can't leave the house for a little while.
Oh no.
It's rough.
It tackles some pretty heavy stuff.
It does.
I had a moment
but
in
I
my
know-
life
Yeah.
when I was like that. Yeah.
If
When
I
it was
was
like the diseases and the impending doom of germs and stuff.
It wasn't germs.
It was her
It was
take
just
on it.
impending doom.
If I was her significant other, I would get a tattoo that says "Yother fucker."
Yeah.
Cool. So
We got up this morning. I made these two breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
meaning
Because
Mike and me.
Mike stayed overnight because we have a weird relationship now. No, I'm kidding. Because we had margaritas last night and it's a safety issue. And we were watching Burbs.
unsafe.
Yeah. But Mike was nice enough to give me a yoga lesson this morning.
Nice.
He's
Yoga
learning.
hoser.
Yeah. Mike's becoming a yogi.
I'm becoming a yogi. That's I probably will be for the next 6 months or so. A lot of shows I'm missing because I have training on the weekends since I'm working
But
keeping my other job.
But when he's back, listeners, you're going to benefit from so much wisdom.
Yeah.
We came together. We made up a mnemonic to help Mike with his homework, his Sanskrit homework.
Yeah, I have to learn Sanskrit as part. Well, not learn the language, but how it applies to yoga, like the yoga poses. So, do you remember what the thing? I'm one of the things I have to have for next weekend is the 8 limbs of yoga, and I'm having a hard time remembering all the words.
Do you remember
like a big giant spider?
Yeah.
So Freddie and I offered to help come up with a mnemonic,
Mm-hmm.
and it was your nasty aunt
Yamas,
Puts
niyamas,
puts pussies
pranayamas,
Pussies and dicks
and dicks
asanas,
downstairs.
downstairs.
dharnas.
So it's your nasty aunt puts pussies and dicks downstairs.
She does, too. It's
Which is
not-
really the core philosophy.
I think
of
this is
yoga.
really so. It really dovetails with what you're learning, what we helped you with.
It really
today.
ducktails with what you're learning.
It really does ducktail with it.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you're welcome.
Thank you. I'll have a smile on my heart as I'm writing that Sanskrit
They're like,
down
why
on
are
the
you
page.
giggling during your test or whatever?
Yeah.
And you're like, nothing.
Joy.
Joy.
Just say it's joy.
Do you want to share that with the rest of the class?
He's singing something
You don't
Joy
have to
Behar
if you don't
said.
want to. Namaste.
Namaste.
What about?
Yeah.
Did you say Joy Behar?
Yeah, I would say, well, first you could say it's joy.
Yeah.
And then I carried the bit a little further to say that he was laughing at something Joy Behar said.
He was laughing so Joy Behar at it that he pulled a muscle.
I was Tina Yothering, where I was just doing
Yeah.
something in the background. Like leaving something for the listeners.
You're like
who
the
are really
Yothers
paying
brothers.
attention. Yeah, I'm like the Yothers brothers. Thank you.
Yes. But it's been really fun. I'm
Dr.
really
Yois Yothers.
getting into the yoga stuff and the philosophy of yoga. It's a lot of everything coming together for me because I've been doing this whole like mindfulness meditation stuff, which is fundamental to the yoga stuff. So I'm digging it. Hopefully there'll be a chiller, calmer Mikey B.
How could you be any chiller?
Yeah,
Pretty
like
chill and
seriously.
calm. Yeah.
Are you gonna become a puddle over there?
Yeah,
still waters.
I am bummed though. Speaking of like the chill part, is like one of my weekends is coming up for Whorehound weekend, so I might be able to make a quick appearance after because it's like from 8 in the morning till 6 o'clock that Saturday.
Yeah.
And all,
Well, speaking of conventions, though, even though you'll only be there briefly at Whorehound Weekend, we can announce officially that we will be attending WonderCon in Anaheim, California.
Oh, shit.
That's 2 weekends after Whorehound, March 20 whatever.
oh my gosh, that is soon.
Yeah, so basically we have a week off between Whorehound and that, and then Andy, Mike, and myself will be hopping on a plane to head out west. If you want to meet up, we will not have a table, but we will be free floating around covering the convention for you guys. And we'll be releasing Patreon content, exclusive content at patreon.com/NOTLP, and then some stuff here as well at this feed.
Yeah,
You
you
guys
guys
should
probably be buying some cool stuff to take pictures of.
And that too.
You guys should be table pirates. Like, you should, like, take someone else's... you should invade someone else's table, board them,
Yeah.
kill them,
Oh, yeah.
and then take their table. But you have to
What
do it with
about-
swords.
do we do
or
their
those
clothes,
big
too?
old guns.
Why?
No, the clothes are yours. You're the pirates.
But what if we
Pirates didn't dress in other people's clothes, Freddy.
Well, we could take it over like one of those anime girl tables, and me and Mike and Andy could dress up like Sailor Moon characters.
You could do that too, but that would be a whole different thing.
And then we just have a cooler full of body parts under the table of whatever women were working that booth that weekend who weren't even really into it. They were just being paid because they're models and they're trying to get their big break. And their mom's like, why don't
Why don't we just buy our own costumes, Freddie?
Yeah,
What?
we could do that too.
What is
Okay.
going on right
Well, then we
now?
can give those away
I don't-
for Patreon rewards. But
The body parts.
that's awesome.
It is. It's cool. You gotta
Very
now,
excited
now
for you
your
guys.
foot is healed.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get in on some of these travels.
I would love to get in on some travels.
Yeah.
Travels.
I also, real quick, I wanted to go back to something stupid I said. I said Dr. Yois Yothers, and I just realized that only an old man would remember who Joyce Brothers was.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Mostly though. It's mostly true.
I don't...
Come on, there's got to be a 32-year-old out there that knows who Yois Brothers is.
Joyce.
I would like to hope that... I'm sure that we've got a couple of old folks in our corral that were like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Dr. Moist Mothers.
Oh, that's even better.
That's gross, huh?
In the immortal words of Aaliyah, age ain't nothing but a number.
She knew
thing her
that better
words
than
were
anyone,
immortal.
didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, now that you go back and think about that title and that time in her life, you're like, oh, R. Kelly was
Yeah.
Oh no!
That's
Yeah, he ruined it.
That's
That's
there
a
you go.
philosophy I hold tried and true to, and
That's
I
what-
Well,
Yeah.
it's a good philosophy,
It's
but
been
just don't
pissed
use
on.
it to. Literally.
Zowo!
Turns out TLC's Waterfalls is also about R. Kelly.
What'd you say, honey?
Said TLC's Waterfalls is also about R. Kelly.
oh,
Yeah, but they didn't experience it because they were too old.
I heard that
Yeah.
Coldplay song.
Yellow.
I didn't mean to spoil it, but I couldn't help it.
You mean Do Bow Bow?
All right.
What's Dave Bobo?
Well,
You know.
I heard that Dolly
Do Bow
Parton
Bow.
Dave Bobo.
song, the Dolly Parton song. What's that she do with Kenny Rogers?
Islands in the stream of R. Kelly's piss.
Wasn't as good as the other. Sorry,
it wasn't as good as the others.
the
Ah,
others.
wasn't
I
as
should
good
have
as the
stopped
others.
while I was ahead.
So patreon.com/NOTLP.
.com.
Night of the Comic has returned.
Return
Finally,
of
we
Night of the Comic.
we had such a good time.
Yeah,
we
what'd you
did.
talk
We
about?
comic book crossovers.
Oh, that was this one.
That was this one this week. We talked about Archie versus Predator, which if you haven't read is a blast. And then Dave turned me on.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, you
no.
did.
Get ready for this, everybody.
Yeah, really.
By rubbing the back of your knees.
Yeah.
To the new Flintstones comic. Well, I knew it's
You're
been out
about
a
to get
couple
your
of
bed
years.
rocks off.
The Flintstones comic is so great. Just read it. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
it is,
okay.
It's so much more adult than you would think, and it's so much more has so much to say about society. It is
He's really
fantastic.
been.
Freddie took us
into
all to a
this.
real dark place when he was describing.
Well, there's some
parts
real
of it.
sad-
We're not going to talk about that.
Right. There's
because
super
we're
sad stuff about the appliances that if you watch the cartoon.
You mean the It's a Living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically like in the comic they're like slave labor. It's like Toy Story.
In the cartoon, they're slave labor.
Yeah, but they actually pluck at your heartstrings in the
Yeah.
comic about empathizing with the appliances, and it's almost like Toy Story 3 level sad.
Oh, boy.
Speaking
So-
of Toy Story, for our toy fans out there, Lego just announced a Toy Story line coming out. What? Oh, and there's
awesome.
a Flintstones Lego
Yeah.
line that's getting ready to pop out too.
Yeah,
So how crazy would it be
Out of the
if
Buddy Rebel.
in Toy Story 5 if they bring in as a meta thing the Toy Story Lego toys?
maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Well,
that's
unfortunately,
why.
Simpsons did it because they did a whole Simpsons Lego series when the Simpsons Legos came out. I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You were turning into Marge there for a second. That was really good. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly.
No, it's all right.
You rather got right in there.
was
You're
like-
like a Flintstones appliance in my heart.
That happened? Oh, man,
Thought
I
you s-
missed it.
You started to say Flintstones apologist.
He made me Flintstone. I stole that from Freddy because he accidentally said
Bet your mom's no Sharon Flintstone.
Oh! Hey,
Yeah.
what's the art like? Is it like the old cartoon?
No, I'll show you.
Yeah, show
when
me,
we
man.
take the break, I'll grab the book from the other room.
Sounds vaguely interesting.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Anything
Yeah.
else to discuss before we move on?
Just horrorhoundweekend.com, WonderCon. You can find all that
It's going to be
information
a big
at
deal.
their website.
WonderCon.
Yeah.
That's the first time, like, that's a major convention. I'm really excited about that.
It's a major award.
It's a major award.
Fragile.
It's a regular major award.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had a good Valentine's Day if you're into that, and if you're not into that, hopefully you had a good Friday or Thursday.
Yeah.
I took a acro yoga class from Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was awesome because you could see that's what you posted, right?
Yeah, and you were like they were presenting it for couples, and then I was like, I don't have one, I can't come. And they're like, you should come anyways.
Yeah.
And I did, and I had a good time. So it's a good way to
Take yourself on a date.
I took myself on an acro date.
Yeah, so you had a great Valentine's
I did.
Day.
I was trying to sleep the other night, so I took myself on a date. Didn't help. Stayed up.
That's usually how I go back to sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, a date.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
Anything else before we hop along Cassidy here?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You're just staring at me. All right. Cool. Bye.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
Welcome back, everybody. Kelly.
Hey. So, listen,
Yeah.
everybody. I had the Russian roulette. Oh, Wilma's kind of hot in this.
He's
Kel-
looking at the Flintstones.
Anyway, I'll look at that later so I
Yeah.
can concentrate on this. I had the Russian roulette movie, which is incredibly rare for this show.
Yeah.
I'm like a rare narwhal sighting. And I watched a movie called Cold Skin, which I was looking forward to watching. I was going to watch anyway, which could be found on Shudder. So, I'm going to just start off and say, like, I think it's a good movie. I think. It looks like a good movie. It behaves like a good movie. But
It behaves.
to coin a pun here, it left me a little cold.
See?
In that I see what I think they
Nice.
were going for, and I'm not sure that the script and sort of all of the ideas were fully there, but I'm gonna lead you through this. I was gonna say I was gonna try not to spoil it, but honestly, once you're kind of in it, there's not too much to spoil. So I'm just gonna tell you about it.
Okay.
So in the beginning, we meet what's his face?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably Gruner, played
No.
by Ray Stevenson.
No, we meet him later.
Is it Friend, played by David Oakes?
Maybe.
Do any of these faces look familiar? Which one of these is the man that hit you?
Show us on the door.
That man works for the show Empire, Kelly.
Okay, so it's not. It's the guy.
Do you wanna
It's the
change your
poor
story?
man's Tom Hiddleston.
All right.
All right.
I think it's. Oh, hold on. I want to look at this fellow's face. It's this Oakes fellow.
Okay, it's Mr. Oakes. It's this
Mr.
handsome
Oakes.
devil.
He's
David
our.
Oakes.
He's our protagonist.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a character named Friend.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. Because he doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
And he is being taken to this island in the Arctic or Antarctic, but it seems like it's a thermal island because it's warm during the summer, and where they have like this weather recording equipment, which ironically, like I feel they sort of acted like nobody's ever going to care about this. Like this is like a worthless kind of useless job, like tracking weather changes. And now, of course, it's important that we did that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Like, look-
what era is this?
1914.
1914. Okay.
Right after Franz Ferdinand is assassinated or right before, I can't remember.
All right.
And so I just found it interesting that now it's, someone who thought that was just like a pointless job. We're using that data now. Thank you, fictional character.
That's how we know the world's ending.
Exactly. So this is kind of a post where people who just want to get away from the world go because you're completely cut off.
Yeah.
It's just you and like one other crazy dude on this island. And I don't even think the crazy dude's supposed to be there, but he is there. And so they drop old fake Tom Hiddleston off, and he talks to himself a lot. He writes in I think he's journaling. He talks as if he's journaling. It's a lot of monologue voiceover kind of stuff that's supposed to sound deep. And it is actually a little comical. Now, don't get me wrong. This movie doesn't have a comical tone at all. And it's not like, when I say it's comical, it depends on who you are. If you're like one of those people who is like, this is supposed to be serious. Listen to that. If you're that kind of person, you're going to have a lot of trouble like sticking with it because
You sound like a real turd brain.
there's a lot of kind of like borderline corny like monologuing, but it's okay. And like for me, I just like maybe that's just his character. Maybe that's why he's here because no one wants to be around someone that talks like that.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
But
Talk to a volleyball and all.
no, but he does talk to a crazy guy named Gruner.
The Gruner.
And the reason that he even talks to him at all is because we find out after the ship people leave to drop him off, after his Uber leaves, if you're a fan of Lovecraft and like a real fan of Lovecraft and you know what the deep ones are, these would make a great, like I sort of like this design for deep ones. They're these sort of humanoid, amphibious, reptilian sea things that come out of the water every single night at dark. and they try to kill and eat these two fellows, and they just swarm. There's hundreds, if not thousands of them.
I love this idea.
Well, I loved this idea too. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, I want everyone to understand. It's not a bad movie. It didn't quite... I feel like there are a couple directions it went in at the same time, and I feel like it should have like focused on one or the other, and it would have been stronger, and also with a little bit maybe more meat to some of the stuff. Because the characters of Gruner and Friend, now that I know that's his name-ish...
Gunther from Friends?
Gunther from Friends shows up and is like, this is all fake. You don't really... You get to know them a little bit, and I think that's what they're counting on, like the reveal of kind of who these people are, but you just don't... I didn't get enough, and it was kind of not early enough for me to really latch on to either of them. So anyway, these creatures come out. Now, the weather boy, that's Friend, he is in his own little house. And then Gruner has taken over this huge lighthouse at the sort of across the island. And so the first night when this happens, this guy like barely survives this monster attack. And so he goes to the lighthouse and is trying to get Gruner to let him in. And he's not gonna. Well, then Weatherboy finds a small female one of these creatures, and he's going to kill her, and then Gruner's like, no. And it turns out this thing is kind of like his pet. He keeps this thing as sort of a pet, but he wants to... Gruner is crazy. He's a crazy old Nick Nolte Whistler from Blade type guy. That's who he reminds me of. And he's very hardened and just... He speaks in few words and...
grunts and groans.
He keeps this weird little creature, but he wants to exterminate the rest. Ultimately, he lets the other guy move in, but the other guy has to do all this grunt work and fetch water and then help defend the lighthouse because the creatures swarm there every night, and they basically have to fight for their lives exhaustively. I just thought I would just kill myself because the level of exhaustion you would feel in this horrible, horrible place is just outrageous.
Maybe all the killing is like a form of cardio, and that they're keeping their heart rate and breathing so high that they're in great shape, and then the endorphins are making them want to live, and they're just like, man, I have never felt better.
It definitely keeps them fit.
Yeah. But
it looks just horrendous to deal with.
It's going to be on Goop. You just wait and see. They're going to be like, go to the lighthouse. Okay, you're going to have to deal with some fish monsters, and it's going to suck for like 3 days. And then you're going to start feeling the burn. You're going to be breathing deeper. You're going to get all that salty air in your lungs.
Clean your vagina out.
Your vagina's going to prolapse, and all of your gills are going to open, and you're going to fly away in a spaceship.
Yeah, I think that the Fire guys were supposed to do this as like a fitness weekend. They pitched it that way. And then all the rich people got to the island and got eaten by Lovecraftian monsters.
I will suck your dick if you just go back in the ocean.
So, speaking of that, listen, listeners, if you're really interested in this, I'm about to spoil what is, probably the biggest twist of the movie. So, give yourself, stop it right now.
Just stop it.
And
just
then
cut it out.
Move to the main attraction. So it turns out that Gruner is also fucking his little female creature, and she's okay with it. Mm-hmm. She's an animal. Well, you think. She's humanoid, certainly, but they have this relationship. And it seems like he's almost fucking like a kid. She's not a child, but it's that kind of... I think
she's not a girl, not yet a fish woman.
Exactly. But we find out she is a fish woman later.
Speared later.
What a slime ball.
We do find that out later. She is a fish woman because I think she has like a little child that she returns to into the sea. Yeah. At the end.
Into the sea.
But what's weird is so basically there's a couple scenes where you see like the guy like like just his sweaty back, and then like her scaly hand on his body. So like to telegraph, oh, they fucking. Mm-hmm. And the other guy's like, ugh. But he starts to develop this real affection for her, and they do make her seem almost like a siren. There is, I mean, I was never at any point like, I would fuck that. But they kind of give you these scenes where she does have like sort of weirdly pretty eyes. So like she kind of looks at them in this way like, you want to fuck me?
She's pretty in the face.
Yeah, she's a butter body.
Okay.
Butterfish body.
But like the other guy never does that. But
jeez.
He develops this affection for her as sort of he starts to realize that she's not just an animal.
Yeah.
And so he protects her and he develops this bond with her. And you're not sure if it's ever going to turn like weirdly sexual. I wasn't sure, but it didn't. Like it was just more sweet than anything. And he protected her because like the other guy would sometimes beat on her because he's just that guy's like an animal. Although you kind of find out. Well, anyway.
Do they throw her around like those fish market guys you always see on Travel Channel?
Yeah, and they're singing Italian songs.
Yeah, they're just catching her, throwing her.
It's catch and release.
So the younger guy that's not crazy yet, he tells the other guy, listen, as soon as a boat comes along, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And that guy's like, boats don't come. You're not going anywhere. You're with me forever. I hate you.
Pass the tartar sauce.
Pass the tartar sauce. I'm going to smear it all over this creature, and then I'm going to lick her. But then Gruner sees the two of the creature and this guy having this tender moment. Also, he gives her a name, the new guy, because Gruner just calls her dog, I think, or something. He calls her something or nothing.
It's an ironic name for a fish.
She has no name.
He has a dog named Fish.
And a boy named Sue.
This is my parrot, Lobster.
So the weather boy gives her a name because he realizes that she's more human-ish than she is a personality and so he's trying to treat her like a person, and the other guy sees this happening and like he freaks out and gets jealous and he's like, you gonna start fucking my fish? So he's like, no, you're right. You need to get on a boat. Let's get a boat here as quickly. There's like a rowboat that they discover, and he's like, let's get this so you can get the fuck off my island, and I can go back to fucking my fish until I eventually die. So as that's going on, the monsters are still coming and almost killing them every single night. It comes to find out that this other guy was on this boat, he says, that had all this dynamite on it that sank. And so they come up with this plan to go underwater and get the dynamite. And it is pretty tense. Like, listen, this movie is beautifully shot. There are some really tense moments. Elise says the monster effects were not as good as I thought, and my vision is a little wonky, and I was definitely a little inebriated of a sort last night. So sometimes when I'm like that, my eyes go a little wonky.
You didn't have your sea legs on?
I didn't have my sea legs on, but so they looked okay to me. They looked okay to me. She looked all right. But you may or may not think that, listener, when you watch this. You might be like, oh, that's not very good. Or you might be like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. But I thought it was a cool design either way, whether the execution was what ended up, being good or not. The design I thought was pretty cool. And the monsters are like, "Rah!" And they jump and they crawl and they make sounds. And so anyway, they bring up this dynamite and they blow up a whole bunch. Like they're like, we're going to send a message to these motherfuckers. We're going to blow their asses up when they come up on the land. And it almost backfires, but they kill a whole bunch of them. And it's real gross and sad because in the morning they go out and there's a bunch of them that are still kind of alive and twitching, and they're just like using spears to like kill the ones that are still sort of moaning. And then at the end is a little confusing to me. So a bunch of them come up, and the one that they keep, she has like a little creature baby that she runs back into that comes off the land, and it's like they want to have a truce, but the Gruner guy doesn't want to have a truce. Well, anyway, the other guy gets off the island.
Okay.
All right. And
delivered the bum.
And the pet creature goes back into the sea with her people. I think the Gruner guy dies, and you find out that he was the last weather guy. Because when they first drop the new weather guy off, they're asking Gruner where the old weather guy is.
He's their Renfield.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, maybe he died, maybe he killed himself. I have no idea. But
we don't know. We think he's at Minneapolis doing the morning show.
But at the end, it turns out you think that he is the... Oh, no. Weatherboy stays and is like the new Gruner, and they're like, where's the old weather guy? And he's like, I'm not exactly sure. The ending is a little confusing.
Ending's a little fishy.
But when I say it didn't live up, like, it is so beautifully shot. Seriously, this is clearly the very serious movie. There's nothing goofy other than like someone who can only watch realistic things and thinks anything fantastical is goofy. But they treat it very seriously. And I think they wanted to say some things about like treating other beings and other, just other things that some people think are subhuman. Maybe, I don't know if they were trying to say anything about race or not. I don't know that it went that deep, but
yeah, I could see how you could read into it that way.
Yeah, if you want to, it kind of leaves it open for you to like get as deep as you want with it. But
that's what she said.
But I just think there were also like there were a lot of slow shots.
Oh my, sneezy.
Thank you. That's what I call a face orgasm. They
okay.
Because it's anyway.
Sure. Have a seat. Let me clear you a spot.
Freddie just touched his mustache.
There are a lot of there's a lot of scenes of them just like looking. Like there are these like really slow tracking shots and just like what you would consider a reaction shot, but it lasts like 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah. Like,
and you've seen that. Like,
what was it? That Indian horror film we watched where they
Fuck It. What was that called?
Yeah, Fuck It. I think that's right.
But it was something
Phuket. It was something like that. But every time they had a reaction, they had to cut to everyone, and then they would cut to like the knick-knacks too.
Yeah,
like the knick-knacks.
I
were
remember
reacting.
the knick-knacks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A knick-knack react.
So there was a lot could have been trimmed out of it. First of all,
yeah.
Just in terms of reaction shots, and then I felt like what they wanted to do and what they wanted you to think. The script just wasn't. The characters weren't deep enough. The characterization was very austere.
We were just talking about the word austere.
Yes.
It is weird, huh? That came up twice today.
And I think what they should have, like, what I would have liked, and of course I didn't make this movie, they didn't make it for me, so it's not their fault, but I think either they should have stuck with this is a creature we pulled out of the sea and we're fucking it, and what is our relationship to this? What is its level of understanding, consciousness, sentience, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe have the other creatures as sort of like a background thing, like a threat of them coming up and killing everyone to get this thing back. Or they should have just stuck with a siege horror movie and like really dug into those two characters, their situation, and not made it a siege every fucking night of their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Because to me, that lessens the impact.
Funk.
Thank you. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. It means blow in English.
So
I think that when they have to fight for their lives every single night, someone who enjoys excess might say, I want it every night. But to me, it was just like, well, it was tiring for me to watch them fight these monsters night after night. And it was just like, I think they figured out how to survive. So it definitely took some of the impact away where I wasn't really too worried they were going to die. And I also didn't really care. The Gruner guy is kind of just a horrible character.
What if, and this would have been a great twist, right? Like, what if one night they didn't show up to fight and they're like, why aren't they here? And then when they go to investigate it, the fish people are celebrating Christmas.
Aww. That does not happen. But there are nights where they don't show up and they don't know why.
Yeah.
So listen, this is a pretty good movie. I mean, I think it is.
Is it a whale of a tale?
It's like a
guppy of a tail.
Nothing. He just gave me an idea for a tattoo when he said that.
It's at least a sunfish of a tail.
Ah, okay.
They're large. But it has some problems. But it's classy, kind of artsy. It's aiming for that. I don't know if it achieves like quote unquote artsiness.
It's not the goldfish standard.
Yeah, exactly. The crackers. But
Oh my!
A little cheesy, sorry.
But oh, look at you making connections.
He is just on fire.
Like
him
the
go.
festival.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's neither a recommend nor a non-recommend. Like if you, I think it's a pretty decent creature feature. If you have Shudder, you're already paying for it. Definitely watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd get Shudder just to watch this movie. It's probably worth like a $3.99 rent, I guess, too, if you can find it like on Prime or something. Although this might be a Shudder exclusive, I don't know.
I think it is.
So, but it was definitely. I wasn't mad that I was watching it. I didn't enjoy it as much as some that some of the straight to videos I've watched recently, but I certainly liked it much better than a lot of them that I have watched. So, this one left me just a little like I really liked the concept, and I like Elise put it really well. It had a lot of really good elements, but ultimately the whole just wasn't worth the sum of its parts.
All right.
Left you out to sea.
Thank you.
my
It did.
gosh.
That was Mikey B's stinging closer.
Wow.
I like the last third of your review reminding me of someone trying to describe their in-laws cooking.
Like trying to find something nice to say.
They're diplomatically.
All right. So Kelly,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a movie gun. It's got a movie bullet in it.
Ooh, I'm exempt.
Duh.
I know. I'm just saying that for new listeners.
Well, doy.
You're doy.
No doy.
You're doy.
All right, Amy's up first. That's me. I live, Freddy.
Oh!
I'm so sorry.
You have to watch the sequel, Hot Skin.
Hot Skin. I've seen Hot Skin.
So this is a request from our friend Alex. He's a patron, and he tweeted me and he said he needed somebody to watch this movie, that it's trash but kind of fascinating. So I was like, whatever you say, dude, bro. That's what I say.
That's what Amy says all the time.
The movie is called Horror Hotel.
Oh, boy.
I love the title.
On Amazon Prime.
This does sound like something right up your alley.
The anthology series continues, dishing out short slices of sci-fi horror mystery tales with plenty of quirky characters and twisted endings. Aliens, psychos, brain robbers.
Did you say brain?
It says brain robbers.
The Great Brain Robbery.
Clones and more are caught up in extraordinary situations.
Crows?
Clones.
Oh, clones.
At this mysterious hotel located in rural Georgia.
They're getting that protein.
We stayed there, remember? On the way down to Disney, or the way back from Disney.
Sure did.
We did.
Did that went down to Disney?
Yeah. It was all the ladies with chronically
They
wet
were
hair.
having a Pizza Hut, and they had crunchy wet hair, and they didn't want to give us a room.
in sedum stains on the carpet floor.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So Freddie will review that for next week. I guess we'll
Freddie,
be right
You're so lucky.
back.
This week's main attraction is Amanda's pick, The Burbs, from 1989, directed by Joe Dante, starring Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher, Corey Feldman, the late Rick Ducommun.
A lot of the lates in this movie.
Wendy Shaw, who is the voice of Francine on American Dad, Henry Gibson, Courtney Gaines, who's been to a couple of Whorehound weekends, Malachi from Children of Corn. Really fun movie, written by Dana Olson.
Also the late Dick Miller.
Yeah, late Dick Miller, recently late Dick Miller.
And the late somebody else, too. There's like 3 dead people in this movie.
There are some older actors in this cast at the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it stands to reason that maybe only 50% are still around.
Probably Walter. Oh, probably those dogs are dead.
I'm sure the dogs. Oh, by the way, Walter's little dog is Precious from Silence of the Lambs.
No shit.
Yeah, horror pedigree.
She's a great little acting dog.
Dana Olson wrote this. It's inspired by some of his time living in the suburbs.
That's what the Burbs stands for, listeners. The suburbs.
Yeah.
This has my favorite Tom Hanks freak out.
Yeah.
One of many great ones in this movie. I'm like you. This is one of my top 20 movies for sure of all time.
Was
And
it the sneezing bit
it's
after
when-
sardines?
The sneezing is.
It's when Art comes over and he's like taking a nap and he stands up and he squeezes the cans. He's like, I'm only trying to take a nap. I only have my eyes closed. He tells him that he put a note in there, and he like stands up. And it's like, ah!
Is it better than the money pit when he falls through the
Oh no, the whole scene in the money pit is the best Tom Hanks freak out.
Tom Hanks, is he got the best freakouts of all 80s films?
I think so.
I think
there's a lot of great freakouts in the 80s. You don't really see those anymore in movies.
No.
But
Yeah, of all actors in general, I think he's probably number one for freakouts. Number two for me would probably be Chevy Chase.
Chase from Christmas Vacation.
Any of the vacation movies.
Vacation
The
movies.
zippity doo dah of your goddamn assholes line from the first one is probably one of the best freak out moments.
That's a good one. Okay. So Tom Hanks versus Chevy Chase.
Oh, I'd love to see a movie just called Public Freakout with Tom Hanks and Chevy Chase.
Watching this movie, I wish that I love Tom Hanks. I love his, his filmography, but I almost kind of wish that he'd stuck to more like weird stuff like this, like smaller. Like I kind of wish he'd stayed like a smaller actor, but like with a strong, kind of genre.
I get that feeling too sometimes, because sometimes the cult movies are in a way robbed of the best talent in them, because those people are so good that they get to the point they get offers they can't refuse from Hollywood.
Yeah.
It happened with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It happened with Martin Short even at one point, where they, and Steve Martin's another good example.
For sure.
It's just interesting, like how, these people are so creative, like getting them out of the big, even though this is a big studio movie all shot on a backlot.
Oh, sure.
But it's still got that cult feel, because Dante's just got this great sensibility of making cult style movies.
What was the last comedy that Tom Hanks did?
I'll find out for you.
Like, can you even think of one?
Like straight up,
The last 10 years, 20 years?
comedy.
Da Vinci Code, maybe?
What was that? Wasn't he in a Coen Brothers film?
Oh, Lady Killers.
Lady Killers.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Well, how old is that?
That's been a
Why
while.
doesn't he do comedy
Well,
anymore?
he was David S. Pumpkins.
Oh,
He
you're
was
right.
David S. Pumpkins. And there was
Okay.
a cartoon for that. So
That's funny.
I miss him doing comedy.
Yeah,
I think
right.
that's what
he
he's...
gives great face.
He does.
Yeah.
That when he squeezes those fucking cans.
I feel that way about the sneezing.
There's something about his face that's just comforting to me too.
Oh yeah, when he starts trying to eat that fucking sardine.
Would you eat a sardine?
I've tried to eat a sardine.
It's just the full fish,
I
right?
decided
Head
it's-
and all?
It's just real salty and kind of like oil.
It's
They're not
fishy.
bad.
I
They're not
don't
bad.
I wouldn't. I
They're
don't
not
eat fish.
like something
I
I
don't
crave.
know.
Otherwise, I'd have them here. I'd be like, the guys, let's crack some open now.
I tried once because I thought maybe I'm a sardine guy, and
Yeah.
a lady at work brought me some. Now, to be fair to sardines, what she brought me were like sardines in a mustard sort of sauce inside the tin, so they were also yellow and had like a very strong smell. And so, like, I tried to put one in my mouth. I couldn't even like swallow it.
Did you try to put one anywhere else?
Well, I mean, obviously sardines work for people, and that's fine. I
No,
just
it
don't
does.
understand.
I tried it.
I think those little tins are adorable.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for me. I also don't like anchovies, which I also gave a try. It's a too fishy.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
those might be surprising to anybody that knows me. I think in my head I've confused sardines and anchovies for my entire life.
Well, they're similar.
They're almost the same thing.
They're basically the same.
But
thing.
isn't like one look a little bit more easy to eat? Like a sardines, the whole thing.
Anchovies are skinnier. They're smaller.
Well, I also think they're usually sliced up on a pizza.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a whole sardine.
I feel like
So-
I tried an anchovy on a cracker once.
Sardines look like fish, like what you take fishing with you as bait.
Yeah.
So super quick, just to kind of synopsize this briefly, Dana Olson, who wrote this, like he was living in the suburbs. I guess he wanted to do a play, like a modern take on Rear Window.
Yeah.
And Joe Dante comes along to direct it for Universal. We figured out that this was the back lot at Universal. This is all shot on,
Oh yeah.
which I want to live there. Like probably a lot of other people feel that way.
I think the fact that it was too lends so much to it because it
Yeah.
really is obviously a set.
Yeah.
But I think that's super deliberate too.
Well, I always say, like, I love studio movies, old studio movies, because of that. Like, they can control so much that the art of it, it's just giving the artist more tools to work with, I think, when they shoot on set. Like,
Yeah.
And having just recently rewatched Gremlins and then watching this pretty close to that, like you can just really see the similarities and just again very also shot on probably I don't know if it's the same lot, but I mean,
Yeah, I know it's the same one they used for Desperate Housewives and for the Munsters.
Yeah.
Some other stuff. So the setup is Tom Hanks is on vacation. I guess in the original screenplay he had been fired but didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah.
So it kind of explains like why he's so stressed out even though he's on vacation. And his wife, played by Carrie Fisher, is trying to get him to relax and get out of the neighborhood and go camping.
They should have put her in more stuff.
Yeah.
She's so fucking hot too.
She was great. I wasn't a fan of the wig they had her in.
I was cool with it.
Yeah. It was like the world's worst mom haircut.
It was bad mom hair.
But I put myself in the time period and it worked for me.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
She was like an HR mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have kind of a fun, loosey-goosey neighbor played by Corey Feldman, who is your 80s cool dude. He's basically the human version of Michelangelo the turtle.
This is prime Feldman too.
Yeah.
And he was the voice of Michelangelo too.
Yeah, makes sense.
He
did like
Mrs.
pizza.
Runfeld, Rumsfeld.
Oh, and Mrs. Rumsfeld
No
is
tan lines.
Yeah, she was so hot.
Oh,
She
Wendy
is so hot.
Schaal?
Yeah, Wendy
Hell yeah,
Shaw's super
she
hot.
was.
But Bruce Dern is Wendy Shaw's husband. He's an arms dealer, and they have, you know, what you would expect out of a guy named Rumsfeld, who's an arms dealer. They're flying the flag.
Who's Bruce Dern?
It's Bruce Dern. Yeah, he's flying the flag every morning in his yard and saluting it.
I feel like this character is like I feel like this is who Bruce Dern is.
Yeah, yeah. I wish. That'd be great if he was just total militaristic, has a basement full of weapons. We're gonna
Well,
find
it's just
out.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Bruce Dern is like a hey.
So then you got Art, who is the bumbling, I guess, sidekick kind of character. He's kind of a trickster character in a lot of ways. He gets the ball rolling as far as making things a lot worse.
I feel like Art is like he's the bored, like his wife is gone. Like I don't know that he gets along super well with his wife.
No, yeah.
And,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So he's just looking for stuff, and he's kind of kooky and just kind of dumb.
We all know an Art,
Yeah, we do.
I think. If you don't know an Art, you are an Art.
If you don't know an Art, you're the Art.
Yeah. So he's by the way, that actor, you know, he used to weigh 426 pounds.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's dead now.
He is dead now.
Even though he lost all that weight.
Recently.
Yeah. The last few years he died. Apparently him and Tom Hanks did not get along.
Huh.
Which I thought was interesting. I think it was just Tom Hanks. He got on Tom Hanks's nerves, which is perfect considering that the characters, that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like a method thing that came out of it.
Well, what's great too, like the tropes about suburbs, I think it's a nice little thing. And one of these, like, they seem like they're friends, but also Tom Hanks as Ray Peterson does not really seem to like Art. He doesn't seem to like Rumsfeld, but it's like this weird thing where we're in the suburbs, we're thrown together, we're just expected to be friends, because this is the 80s when people still talk to their neighbors. And this was probably written even in the earlier 80s.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of like how, you know, this is like trite and overplayed, but how social media has kind of changed that, because it used to be you had to kind of get to know your neighbors just for when those moments when you actually needed them.
Right.
And I mean, they talk about that like in this, becomes the impetus of introducing themselves to the Klopeks, is that they might need to borrow a cup of sugar from you one day and they're probably going to show up at your house. You might as well know who they are.
Right.
Now Walter is our Rear Window character that kind of gets the ball rolling with Art notices Walter is not around. Walter's the old man who owns the little precious dog.
Yeah, who shits in other people's yards.
Yeah.
Rumsfeld specifically.
Yeah, and Walter is just missing one day.
Yeah.
And Art convinces Tom Hanks' character,
Well,
Ray.
there's already been some xenophobia because the Klopeks move in.
Yeah.
And
They're foreigners.
They're
They
foreigners.
refer to them as foreigners.
So
Yeah.
already, like, it's like he's looking for a reason to blame them for something.
Do we
Yeah.
necessarily know what the foreign? I mean, what they're supposed like? You get.
I
like,
think they're German.
I think they're
you get
German.
German
That's
and
what
a
I
little
thought.
bit of Russian at
Yeah.
times. And
I think they were German.
Yeah.
The last of the Nazis were being found, I think, in the early 80s,
Yeah.
mid 80s. So maybe it's like a little bit of that flavor.
Mhm.
Like, could they be Nazis?
Yeah.
they
I think
make like
they
that
wanna-
joke, like
yeah.
Pinocchio.
Actually, that's a great.
and-
I didn't think of that, Amy. That's actually a really.
Well, I was just listening to the last podcast and you were talking about Mengele, and I think he was caught. Well, late 70s. Well, they found out where he had been in the 80s, I think. But
Was he like in
had
Argentina
died.
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them fled. Like,
to South America.
Yeah, and
So
then
maybe a
some
little bit
came
of
here.
that.
Like if you've read The Marathon Man, that's like another thing in that too.
Seen The Boys from Brazil.
Boys from Brazil, yeah.
Also, the Satanic Panic, a little bit of all that.
It blends that in real nicely. So, Art is like, there's something not right about this family. And there's this moment, and you said this reminded you of Gremlins. Like, did you catch, like, the way the scene is shot when Art and Ray are walking down the street at night with Corey Feldman, and they are, he's telling them the story of the soda jerk.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it mirrors the Phoebe Cates dad in the chimney story from Gremlins.
I think
I
think there are a lot of little callbacks, even just with certain characters, and certain actors that are, I love to think that Corey Feldman's character is the grown-up version of Pete.
Oh yeah,
not that I don't think that's intentional. I just like
that's
to
a
think
fun
that.
idea to think it's all the same universe, that he moved away.
Yeah, but yeah, that you're exactly very much like the Phoebe Cates story.
Yeah,
Joe Dante loves the story,
and even down to the turning point being a smell.
Yeah,
like it's about a dead body in the house that somebody smells it, and then they discover the horrific thing that's happening, and that's when he's telling the whole story of. He's like, these towns are full of those kinds of stories. It's a very much like a Stephen King trope too, which I love. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about this movie. Is this is not the first weird thing that's happened in the Burbs.
Exactly.
Right.
And there's so much. This movie to me, I feel like. I mean, obviously it's a classic. I feel like it should be better regarded. I watched this not that long ago. Again, like I watch this pretty frequently. Actually, probably every couple of years, and everything about it is so like up here. Listeners, if you can't see, my hand is raised well above my microphone.
That's high.
Yeah,
it's really high.
The performances, like it's got a really wacky tone, but it's still weirdly grounded. All of the the reaction. This is a great example of where long reaction shots are used properly, where they do kind of the spaghetti western, where everyone they kind of have the dramatic music, and everyone is watching just these banal. Like nothing things happening. The kid walks out on the porch and the whole neighborhood
they
is
cut
staring at it.
It's tight close up on squinting eyes. It is spaghetti western.
Yeah.
It's the Clint Eastwood. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly is the shot.
It's exactly like that from the cemetery.
With the cemetery scene in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they tight in on the squinting eyes and they play the tense music. But what I think the great punchline to that scene is the last tight close-up is the dog.
Yeah, the dog.
And the dog is even
raises its little eyebrow a little bit. Like, it's perfect.
Oh, it's so cute.
It is.
What a cute little dog. And then, anyways, Art has convinced Ray that the Klopeks have killed Walter, the old man.
Because they do some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that no one else is noticing because no one else is paying any attention.
They drive their garbage to the end of the driveway.
And then beat the shit out of it.
I love it when later in the movie they are in the base. They finally have broken into the Klopeks to try to figure out what's going on when the Klopeks are away. And Ray says, "Hey, does a regular residential furnace go up to 5,000 degrees?" That's what I think. That's the biggest laugh I have in this entire movie. Is that
Was that
moment.
supposed to be like for cremating?
Yeah, it's a crematorium.
He also does some great double takes in the. I know we're talking about like being grounded in reality, but there's some times when that camera really loves his face and the expressions that he gives.
Oh, and that's what I mean about like it goes goofy. Like there's that scene where the camera's like coming in and out, and they're just standing there going ah, and it's clearly such a silly shot.
Yeah.
But instead of like taking away, it like just adds to the whole thing.
Yeah. I was talking to Andy about this last night. We were watching. I said. It occurred to me, I've never heard this. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm like, this had to be a big influence on Edgar Wright.
Yeah. I imagine so.
For sure.
Especially like Hot Fuzz in particular, I think feels a lot like The Burbs.
It's one of those movies where it's just like a movie magic movie. Like it wants you to know you're watching a movie, but it also wants you to be sucked in.
Do you feel like that a lot of the reason that works so well in this film specifically is because the other characters sell it as so normal?
Yes.
Like that's really comes back to his wife,
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. She just like is such a great straight man in this film.
Oh,
It
yeah.
reminds me a lot of Beverly D'Angelo as next to Chevy Chase, and like she reminds me of that.
That's a great point, and I think it also like it's kind of a nice way to show you like that these. It's like drawing you into their madness. You know, the three of these guys, like, and that's when Tom Hanks has the realization that they're the crazy ones at the end. Sort of, he's like, "It's us, it's us."
That's a great callback to Twilight Zone. The monsters are on Maple Street. I don't know if you know that episode where the
monsters.
we're the monsters, but the scene, taking it back to, you're talking about them grounding this in reality. I think this movie actually benefited from the writer's strike because they had to improvise so much.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that blows up in your face if we have the wrong cast, but these actors are so good at improvising that I think it elevated the movie beyond what it would have been had Dana Olsen been able to be on set and tweak things as it went. Like when they're watching Jeopardy, they're playing along with little pads of paper.
They're writing their answers down.
Yeah, and they're competing with each other. That's something they thought of while making the movie. Like the actors were like, let's do this. It'll make it feel more like we're a real couple. And
I think it really did benefit too, because because you could almost, that relationship almost could have been like this combative where you're like, I don't even buy them as a married couple. They don't seem to like each other. But then they give you this moment where they clearly are really enjoying being with each other.
Right. And Carrie Fisher at the end, when Tom Hanks has his breakdown, you're like, you want to. Anybody else would have come in and he's going to jail for what he's just done.
Right.
And blew up this house, and she just stands by his side and is like calming him down, and realizes the only thing she needs to be is just help ground him a little bit because he's totally lost his mind at that moment.
Into the ambulance.
His little shit fit where he
love
grabs
that
the gurney and throws it in and lays on top of it.
That's an improv moment too.
Oh, really?
That's another great Tom Hanks freak out.
And she's like, well, I'll come see you when they let me know what hospital you're in. Bye.
In saying that, it's like, it almost feels like where all those other actors are so great at grounding, like Corey Feldman is almost misdirection.
Yeah.
Because like what he's doing through the whole thing is just saying these goofball one-liners that you're just like, huh? Yeah. But it's just a great misdirection that just, again, centers this whole universe, and it could happen.
What's super fun, it's the voyeur within the voyeur thing that they managed to pull off with that character.
I love that he's sort of like supposed to be our surrogate.
Yeah, well,
because like he thinks it's insanely hilarious what these people do.
Well, it's also just funny that like Art starts off as the guy spying on the neighbor. Yeah. He ropes Ray into it, but the whole time, the Corey Feldman character is just watching all of them.
Right.
And he's totally, separate from it. He's like, this is going to... And it also, I think it builds the expectation that you're in for a really fun ride. Yeah. And that this sort of shit happens in this neighborhood. Like, something's crazy is going to happen if you hang out on the porch long enough.
Literally, like... provides like dinner and a show and is bringing like more and more of these like keeps saying you've got to stay for the pizza is going to be great, the show's going to be awesome, and then honestly is the one that breaks the fourth wall at the end of the film and looks directly into the camera and says, I love my neighborhood. It's like, oh, you're like, this is like his misdirection of Corey Feldman is great in this film, how he uses him.
The one thing the movie doesn't really come out with exactly is what the Klopeks are up to.
Well, they're killing people.
You just know that there's killing people.
Well, they killed the people who owned that house to get the house. But I also
think... Are they just a family of murderers?
I think he's a Nazi war criminal.
I think so, too. Now, I didn't think that until you said that, and now I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Well, Germans, the 80s.
He does say he's...
crematoriums.
They do say, when the detectives come on the scene, I think it's the detective says he's a really well-respected doctor. Yeah, so you almost wonder if they're not doing medical research
well, they say
on human bodies that aren't dead.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the Nazi scientists were brought to America, so...
I think that's, they never, like you said, they never come out and say it, but it does seem...
So why was their trunk full of...
He collected skulls.
Oh.
And I think he put them in the trunk because he didn't want them in the house while they were gone.
Yeah.
Do you think they were buried in the backyard? He dug them up because he realized the neighbors were getting a little too
because remember the scene when they show him digging in the yard?
Yeah, so they were. That's probably what was in the trunk, maybe?
Yeah. Actually, I think you're right.
Actually, to add to that, too, I think that we are supposed to maybe... I think the background maybe is that they're German Nazi war criminals because of that line where he says, what is that, Slavic? And the guy very... strong is like, no.
Yeah, but
so that,
he took offense to him saying you're Slavic.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's, the painting in that scene where they're over there visiting with the sardines, all that stuff, but Bruce Dern is turning that painting around. That's from Night Gallery.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of the paintings from Night
Oh
Gallery.
shit! I
Isn't
didn't
that
know
cool?
that. That's awesome.
I thought that was like a really cool piece of trivia. That and
is.
the peeling of the wallpaper was an improv moment from Bruce Stern.
Yeah.
Which
I like Andy's comment during that scene. He's like, "That's really rude." I'm like, it is rude. Why are you doing that?
Well, because he's Rumsfeld. He is rude. He's sitting there
He's
basically like accusing them of stuff.
Isn't there Gremlin cereal too?
Yeah, he had Gremlins. And was it you were trying to figure out if the other cereal they were eating, Freakies, when they were watching Jeopardy, if that was an Easter egg of some kind?
I thought.
We never looked into that though.
Never did.
Now I will say another I don't think this was a deliberate callback, but did Dick Miller and Robert Picardo's Garbage Guys remind you of the Garbage Guys from Creepshow? Tom Savini and the other
A little
dude?
bit. I think all garbage men remind me of each other in movies.
But even the scene,
Charlie Sheen and
the
Blue
scene
West
was
of
set
Us.
up similar. Like it was a similarly
It's funny
set up scene.
you bring that up because those characters had a bigger role to play. Like in the original climax of the movie when they were test screening it. I think Tom Hanks' character dies in the explosion. And then when they open the trunk, the Klopex trunk opens and there are dead cheerleaders and the dead garbage men. And apparently, I guess audiences
It would have been
like
way
that.
too dark for America.
I guess I don't know why they changed it. Like other than
I'm glad they did.
I did too. I mean, having Tom Hanks come out with that swollen eye and everything is such a great moment.
Well, I sure would have been bummed if he died.
Yeah.
Like I would have been like, that's not what I came to this movie
You can't
for.
do that. You can't kill Tom Hanks.
No, you just can't.
It just would. That would have been
John Coffey.
He's
come by and
immortal.
Save him.
That would have weirded it. That would have made it too.
Yeah.
It would have taken
It's
away
such a
the
wacky, like almost family-friendly horror movie, and then you can't kill off. your dude.
great spooky tone though, and like the dream. Like my favorite sequence is where he's flipping through the horror movies, and then he has that dream.
Yeah.
and the dream sequence is really great. Like when Ray comes in, or Art comes in, and he's both himself and the soda jerk that killed his family.
Yeah.
And they've got like when they're tying him onto the barbecue, it's really kind of chilling.
Did
like,
it remind you of some of the moments from Dragnet? The Dan Aykroyd
High five me
Dragnet?
because as soon as that happened, I
Yeah.
turned to Lisa and I was like, "We have to watch Dragnet."
Yeah. Did you watch Dragnet yet?
We might watch it today.
I love that movie.
I do too. I
you really?
love
Yeah.
Dragnet.
That's awesome. I had a moment.
You sounded like you're going to be like, do you really? Because that movie's terrible.
No. Well, just to spend for just 2 seconds, I've been getting back into LPs, which I shouldn't, records. But I've limited myself to only buying movie soundtracks because Mondo does great movie soundtracks. They do great art for it. But I was at the record store and I found a Dragnet.
It has the rap on it?
What? It has, yes.
the
It has the
rap,
rap,
from the
which
closing credits?
I have a fond memory for because my sister and I memorized the entire Dragnet rap.
Yeah.
And I can do Dan Aykroyd's part and she does Tom Hanks' part.
Just
so I
facts,
ended up
ma'am.
buying that. And then everyone I've told that to is like, that's such a horrible movie. I'm like, I
No.
don't really remember anything other than loving.
No,
That's
that's
such
a
a great movie.
So we need to have a viewing
The Virgin
party.
Connie's
Yeah.
Wells?
We might need to figure out how to work that one
I
in.
don't think I've seen the entire movie.
Oh, Amy.
Excuse me,
so
Coppa, Mr.
great.
Crime Solver.
It was that movie, and I said we got to watch Dragnet, and I was like, and then there's
Neighbors. The John Belushi
some- oh
Neighbors. That takes place in Cincinnati.
yeah,
Or at least the
Oh,
book
yeah?
it's based on did, yeah.
That's where we live.
I know. We talked about doing Neighbors like 10 years ago and never got around to doing it.
yeah. No, we could do it.
We should.
You should do a family horror.
Yeah, or we could do
Month or
like
something.
Neighbors from Hell.
Stepmom and
That'd be a good
Yeah,
theme.
the movie Stepmom
But this,
with
Serial Mom?
Susan
Serial
Sarandon.
Mom.
We've already
Julia
done Serial
Roberts.
Mom.
and then we can do Stepmom.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies though for me that's like it's like Ghostbusters, and it's like it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I could pick anything out about this movie to criticize.
Oh, there's nothing I would change at all.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything where I'm like, if they did.
I was just trying to understand what Corey Feldman was painting, like the porch, the house, and like
I
some
think
things
all of
were
it.
red, some things were blue. I was just trying to
Do
understand.
you think it was just an excuse to be outside?
I think it's probably like his parents probably told him to do something, and he's got it there, so it looks
Yeah.
like he's been doing something when they come home and say,
Yeah.
"Did you do this?" I'm working on it.
He spilled all that white paint on those speakers. It was just upsetting.
This movie captures something that I miss from my own life that, like, I don't know why I don't do anymore, but we used to just sit on the front porch
We
in
do it all
summer.
the time.
Yeah.
We sit out on our porch and just watch the fire station and the cars
Yeah.
and the people that walk by. It's really a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it's really nice. I wish I had a bigger porch to do it on.
Yeah.
'cause-
I
You can
want a
come sit on our
porch.
porch with us.
Yeah, I'll
sometimes.
come over sometime.
Yeah.
We'll just sit. We'll sit on the porch, and I'll get a long piece of straw to chew on.
I like to have a cigar. Like
Yeah.
I quit the cigarettes, but I do enjoy smoking a cigar outside.
It's a healthy alternative.
Yeah. I mean,
We should just all chew on celery together
Oh.
on your porch. I love lightning bugs.
I hate lightning bugs, but I'll I can't do anything about them. So
Really? You hate lightning bugs?
Serial mom.
I don't like
That's
those.
what
Yeah,
I meant.
yeah, that's probably
I
definitely
said
you
that
did not
earlier.
mean stepmom.
Yeah,
Yeah. Stepmom's also horrifically sad.
it is.
Anything else to say about the Burbs?
No,
just that I can't recommend it enough. It
Yeah.
really is like you should watch it once a year.
Well, you know how we
Yeah.
were talking last week about Steve Guttenberg and how I determined that Tom Hanks stole his career, and then watching this movie, it was meant to be like that. It had to be.
Steve Guttenberg tried to.
There's no comparison.
Yeah,
Steve
he tried to
Guttenberg could
lift some
never
things from Tom Hanks, but was
done
never
this.
successfully completed that.
There's no.
Do you remember?
comparison.
Then there's the third tier that was not Brian Doyle Murray and not Bill Murray, but the third Murray
Oh,
brother.
from Moving Violations.
Moving Violations. Yeah, everybody thought he was going to be another
Because he
big
seemed like a
thing.
cool dude.
Yeah, he
And
was the swarmy, like
Yeah.
cocky, sarcastic.
He was a little
guy.
bit younger than
Smarmy.
the other two,
Yeah.
and he went nowhere.
You
Tom
said
Hanks'
swarmy.
son. What's
Did I say swarmy? He was covered in
Colin
bugs.
Hanks.
Colin Hanks? Is he anything
meant
right now?
Smarmy. He's great in
He
everything
is
he's in.
great.
There
Is
was
Life in Pieces still on?
I don't know.
Well, he also had a series. Wasn't
He's
it
in
him?
Fargo, right?
He was
The
in Fargo,
series, which was really good.
and then he
Oh,
was
And then
yeah.
Life in Pieces.
he was in Life in Pieces.
Cut my life into pieces. Is that the theme song for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's the cast singing it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
like an acoustic
Sweet.
version.
So
Great.
Amy. Nothing else for the Burbs? That was the wrap up. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda, thank you. Because I haven't seen that movie probably in 20 years. And
Oh my
it's
God.
so much better than what I remember.
Watch it once a year.
Okay.
It's one of those for me.
I don't know if I'll do that, but I will watch it like maybe every other year.
In my
Let's go.
attic, thanks to a listener years ago, sent us a copy of the screenplay, the original screenplay for the Burbs.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, nice.
And it's up there in a box if anybody ever wants to go digging for it to read it.
I have it on Blu-ray, but I watched it on Prime.
Yeah. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's just easier.
So that was a fun theme. Next month, the month of March is for Martians.
Oh, Martians.
My favorite Martians
Yeah,
movies.
I think this is an appropriate theme. I just executive decision this one
Sure,
because I love
I'm in.
one. I love Martians.
I'm down.
What are we gonna
Two,
watch?
The Mars rover just died.
Oh.
One of the first one, right?
R.I.P.
And it's so sad.
It did great work, and we're happy for everything it brought to us, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Did you hear its final message?
Don't.
Was its final message? There's monsters up here.
It's just the letter A. No, it said battery is low. My battery is low. It's getting dark.
Oh, why would they make it say that?
I know. Somebody pre-programmed. They're like, I want to break everyone's hearts when this project's over.
Oh,
R.I.P.
Didn't that
opportunity.
Tear your heart out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Wait till you read the
Fuck you,
Flintstones,
NASA.
dude.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Wait till you get to
All
vacuum
right.
cleaner in the Flintstones.
Oh,
All
God.
right, don't. Okay.
It's worse than Bing Bong.
What was I gonna say?
I don't
Worse?
It's worse than Bing Bong.
Holy shit.
No.
It is worse than Bing Bong.
Oh dear.
Why?
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to read it now.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Kelly?
I think what I was gonna say was something I'm gonna say after the credits roll.
Okay.
Okay.
So next week will be feedback. We'll talk about horror news, and if you have
More like
anything
feed front.
feed front. If you have anything to say to us, be sure to email us at crew@notlp.com, or you can call us. Freddie, what's the number?
513-666-0916.
Go to notlp.com for all the ways to contact
And make
us.
sure that I gave you the right number.
All right. As we do at the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Again, patreon.com/notlp if you want to support the show. First up, Jimmy B.
Jimmy B drives his garbage to the end of the driveway.
What a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora.
All three of them eat sardines on saltines and pretzels.
Ew.
It's scandalous.
You guys got weird breath.
Mm-hmm.
Deadeye.
You know Deadeye's got a basement full of skulls.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Dude.
jeez.
Amanda, our chooser.
Yeah,
Our choosy mom.
her home furnace goes up to 5,000 degrees.
Oh,
What
I
you
love this
doing, girl?
neighborhood.
It's out of the norm.
Mandy.
Mandy makes great art, but it's all based on her warm crimes. Her war crimes. She has warm apple crisps.
You could have also said Mandy Art's got a gun.
Oh,
Mandy Art got a gun.
Art's got a gun.
Ernest.
Ernie helped me cut the wires to the Clopex security system.
Oh, that didn't end well for Ernie.
I was surprised he did such a good job at it.
Tree and Alex.
They're Satanists.
Oh, wow.
Satan is good. We didn't even talk about Satan is good. Satan is my pal.
Satanist, yeah.
Ray, you're chanting.
Yeah, Satan is good.
Brandon Boone.
Oh, you guys know about Brandon? He's got problems that you wouldn't believe.
Burby problems?
His porch is full of holes. His wallpaper's peeling off.
You know what's funny? I was drinking a bourbon slushy while I watched the Burbs.
Oh my God.
Oh, you should create a cocktail. We can talk to
called the Burbs and
Jacob
slushy.
about opening up a Burbs themed bar
in our neighborhood.
Get that wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
He could do an Amblin bar. Was this an Amblin movie?
That's
Amblin,
funny.
Amblin,
Mike
Amblin.
said the same thing. No.
Oh.
It should
I
have.
didn't, that's what I was
Next
thinking.
up, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Bill, you mowed your lawn every day for 8 years. One day, you just snapped.
Mm-hmm.
Killed your whole family.
We got some weird listeners. Blake.
No tan lines.
Blake's got no tan lines.
Looking good.
No tan lines, Blake. Nice.
I didn't mean to cut in on your thing. I just
that's
wanted that
great.
to happen
I
somewhere.
like that. Then we got Mark.
Mark, you cannot come out until you resemble the man I married.
All right. And finally, Shalalala, Elise.
Nobody knocks down Elise in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Red Rover, Red Rover. Lilies, come on over.
Oh, we should have just Red Rovered everybody.
Yeah.
Shoulda.
That'd have been fun to listen to. Wouldn't it? Over and over again. Yeah. Red Rover, Red Rover. Let Mark come over.
All right, my beautiful babies. How'd we do?
I think we did great. I want to say one last thing. Every music cue for when Rumsfeld comes out or like walks
like
anywhere.
Patton.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah. I don't know. Was that the music from Patton or was it just like a riff on it, you think?
I think it was just a riff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's good shit.
Great movie.
Okay. Cool. Well, bye, everybody.
Bye.
I give you love.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed.